Hi everyone. I am going to go through some steps on how to make and create your Google site. There's a couple different things that I'm going to go through in this video. The first is starting your site, making your home page for your site. The next is adding collaborators. So this would be other people who can edit and post content to your website. The next piece is going to be adding additional pages within your website. So we'll start with the home page. And then this piece will be how you can add additional pages that would be related to the content of your site, but just things that you want separated out on their own pages. Next, we're going to add text and links to other outside websites or also links within your same site that you're building. And adding content from your Google Drive. So you can add in other documents or pictures or videos that you have saved already in your Google Drive. You can add them into your site, and you need to change the permissions to make sure others are able to view those things linked into your site as well. And we'll get into that in part 5. And then finally, publishing your site so that others on Cherry Hill, within CHCLC, within our Cherry Hill Connected Learning community, can view your site. So for step 1, we're going to start by going into your web browser, and you will go to this address, sites, sites.google.com, sites.google.com, and you will see it works pretty similar to Google Docs and Google Slides, the layout of this piece. Anyway, because you'll see there is a place to start with a blank Google site. And also any of the sites that I've already made or that I'm a collaborator on show up here within my sites document. So I'm going to go to blank in order to start my new Google site. You will need to be sure that you're signed in with your CHCLC Google account. Otherwise, you will not be able to add collaborators or create a site or publish a site. We need to do this through CHCLC Google accounts. I'm going to go to blank. And once I have done that, it will auto-generate a blank site for me. I need to give my site a name. So I'm going to call this my history site. And then you need to, so I'm sorry, this is actually giving the file a name. So your Google site file itself, the name of it will come here, just like we do in Google Docs or Google Slides or other Google products. It also put the name auto-generated here as the name of my site. I can edit this if I choose, if I want to make it something more specific here. And then I'm going to put the title of my site here again. Maybe I'll call it here Ms. O'Reilly's, if I can spell and type here. Ms. O'Reilly's history site, or whatever you want to call, whatever you want your title of your site to be. So that's pretty much it. We've covered step 1 already, making your blank site and giving it a name. If you want, you can come over here to themes on the right-hand side, and you can pick a different color scheme or a different theme for your site, and then you can change the image. You can select one from Google Images, or you can upload your own photo to add within your site if you want to play around with anything like that. I'm going to leave mine pretty basic for now. So that covers the first part, starting your site or your homepage. Now we're going to go into the next piece, which is adding collaborators to your site. So if I go back into the edit mode of my site, the little person here with the plus sign. So again, this will work very similar to other Google products. I'm going to share with others, and that will bring up my sharing screen. It has me here as the owner. I can type in someone that I would like to add. So I'm going to do Mr. Man. Um, and you can choose what this person will be able to do within the site. So for the other students working in your group, you will all be editors of the site so that you can all add content and publish things to your website. So I'm going to leave it here as an editor. I can put in a note here if you wanted to type a message to the person who's receiving it so that they can see what it is specifically that you guys are going to be working on. Here is the link to our Google site that we're starting. You are now an editor of this site or whatever you want to put on here, and then you would simply hit send. If you're looking to add another student, you would type, if you start typing in somebody's ID number, you'll see it'll begin to auto-populate with some of the students' names so that you can find the person that you need. So you just need to know the student ID numbers of the other students in your group so that you can add them as collaborators here on your site. Okay, so let me get out of there. That takes care of step number 2. We're now ready to add some additional pages to your site. So if we come back here over on the right-hand side where my menu is, usually when you get in here, you'll see it's defaulting to the Insert tab. But if I go right here to Pages, I can now manage and add the pages that are within my site. So if I want to hit the plus sign down here, I will create a new page. And I'm going to call this, I'm just going to call it my site page 1. You guys will call it whatever is meaningful to the work that you are doing. But I'm just going to put that for now. And you'll see that it gives me a link here across the top. I have a link back to home, my main page, and then I have a link to the second page that I created. If you come over here to the dots within this Pages tab again, you can get some other information about the page itself. So if we go into Properties, this is where we could change the name. If we decided down the road that this was not the right name for our site, we can change it here. Also, you can hide it from navigation if you have a whole bunch of sites, or I'm sorry, a whole bunch of pages and you don't want it all clogging up along the top here. You can hide from navigation, and you see you get the little line through the page to show that it's hidden in your navigation, and then you would have to add a link to it somewhere else so that people were able to get to this page. But we'll talk about that a little bit down the road when we get into adding links. So I'm going to go back to show in navigation so that I'm sure people can get to my page again. And then it's just a matter of coming down here and you would do the same thing, my site page 2 or whatever you want your next page to be. If you need to reorder them, you can click and drag to move them around. Whatever site is up here at the top will automatically get the little house next to it to be your home, to be your landing page for your whole site. So I'm going to suggest not messing around with that too much. Otherwise, one of your kind of sub pages here will become your home page. So just be careful as you're moving and playing around with those things that you keep your true home page to be the home page. And I'm going to click back here on home now so I can get back to that part in my site because we're ready to move on to the next piece, which is going to be adding text and links to your site. I am back here now on the home page, and you'll see, as I mentioned over here on the right-hand side under Insert, are all the different things that I can do within my site. There's lots of content, lots of things that you can add in. But the ones we're going to be looking at in this first kind of intro basic video to using sites is text box. So I'm going to click in here, and here I have a text box to enter, oh my goodness, enter info. So whatever you would want to type on your homepage, welcome to our site. This site is going to teach you about, or whatever it is that you're going to add here, you can type in your different text boxes. If I click here, I can change it to a title or a heading, subheading. So that would just make the text itself different sizes. There's not too much you can do with playing around with the text. You're kind of locked into what Google Sites will allow you to do. You can bold, you can italicize, you can change, center or left justify. But there's not too much that you can do within playing around with text in Google Sites. But if I had a link, so I'm going to just type Insight link here, type in the text that you would want, and then you're going to highlight that text. And up here on the toolbar, you'll see there's a point where you can simply insert a link. So if you had a site that you were putting in here, you would type it in, or you could copy and paste the web address to apply the link. You'll see it becomes underlined now, so that we know that this is a link to another page outside of my site. If I want to link to page in my site, if I wanted to add a link to another page that is a part of my site, again, I would type in the text that I want to display. I would come up here to insert link, and then you'll see it's giving me the option of linking to the other pages. So instead of typing in or pasting in the address to a link outside of my site, I can pick the link here, and now it would just bring me to, when I click on this in the navigation, it'll bring me to the page that I've already created within my site, my page 2 in this case. I am going to go now up here to this little screen. It's supposed to look like a picture of a little laptop or a little phone so that you can preview what your site is going to look like. So right now we're obviously in the edit mode of our site. But if I wanted to see what it looks like out there in the world when it is published, I can click on preview, and you'll see it's my home page coming up here. I can change the view. So this is what it would look like on a phone. This is what it would look like on a tablet. And here's, again, a computer or laptop screen. When I click on my links, it brings me to Google for that first one that I put in. Or this is the link to my page 2. And once I'm done with looking at my preview mode and I'm ready to go back into edit, I can just click on the little X down here on the bottom right and come back into my edit mode. So let me go back to home, and that's where we added in the text box and the links. So you guys can play around with some of the other features that are over here. There's different layouts that you can do for your page if you have some pictures and some text, or other image carousels if you have a couple different pictures that you want to put in. Dividers are nice to kind of break up the content that's on a page if you want to add in dividers. If you have videos that you're embedding from YouTube, you can do that here. But let me go back here. The next part I want to look at is adding content from your Drive to your site. So if you have a Google Doc that you've created, or if you have a picture that is saved to your Drive, or a video that's saved to your Drive, or something else that you want to embed within your site to your Drive. I'm actually going to go to page 1 for this. So you can obviously do this on any of your pages, but you will come here to Insert, and then you will go to Drive. Once you click on Drive, so this is the easy part, you're simply finding your document that you want to embed in. Let me see, do I have something kind of boring that I can embed here? Okay, so I just picked a Google Doc to put in. And now the tricky part is this document that I've embedded, even though it doesn't look like anything, there is something there somewhere. This document that I've embedded is not able to be viewed by anybody on my site just yet. I need to now go in and check the settings to make sure that it is able to be viewed by people coming to my site. The easiest way to do that is to do what I just did. Go to your drive, select what you want to add to your site first, and then click on that item from your drive that you just imported and go to this little arrow. This will open that same document that you've put on your site. It'll bring you directly into that document within your Google Drive. So now you can go to the share settings, and mine just happens to already be so that anyone can view it. But in most cases, you're going to have to change the share settings of this specific document. And you would do that down here, come to share, and then you would change the link. So right now it's set to anyone within BOE Township of Cherry Hill. So anyone with a CHCLC login can view this file. And that's how we do want to have the items set for your Google sites so that people within CHCLC are able to view the files that you're linking into your site. So I'm going to hit done here because that one is good to go. Now I can close this tab and it'll bring me back into my editing mode of my Google site. So let me just quickly go through those steps one more time. I'm going to go to my second page now, go to my drive to insert something. I'm going to find something that this time will hopefully you'll be able to see it better. What can I add here? Let's try this. We'll add in this document, and I will again go to, once I've added it, I'm going to go to my arrow. It will take me directly into that document in a new tab. I'm going to come to share, and this one is saying that it's only shared with 2 people and it's restricted. Only people with the link, only people added to the link can open. So I want to change that. I'm now going to go to change link. And I'm going to come down to check off the Board of Ed Township of Cherry Hill, meaning anyone with a CHCLC account can now view this document. And I will hit done. I will close this tab. And let's just go, I'm going to close this over here so I can get back to my regular looking menu. And I'm going to go to my preview mode. And there is the document showing up now, so that you can see my embedded Google Doc within my web page. Okay, I'm going to go back to edit mode, and we are almost through all of our steps here. The last piece we need to do is we need to publish your site. I'm going to go back into my Google site. I'm going to go here to home, and once I'm at the home page, now I can go over to publish. So all of the changes, all of the things that you are doing to your Google site when you're in this edit mode are being saved. See, it says all changes saved in Drive. They're being saved to your Google Drive so that I can come back here to sites.google.com and open up my site in edit mode at any time, and all of the things that I have been doing to edit this are being saved in my Google Drive. To make it so that anyone can view, or to make it so that others can view your website, we now need to publish your site. So I'm going to come up here to the top right. I'm going to click on publish. You will give your site a web address. It's going to default to just whatever you named your file, whatever you named your site up here. You can change this if you want. It's going to tell you whether or not the site that you're trying to publish, the name has already been taken. And if it is, it'll give you an error down here that you'll have to pick something else. All of the sites that we make in our CHCLC account start with the same sites.google.com/chclc.org, and then whatever you've named your individual site. And this piece down here is what we want to look at too. We want to make it so that anyone who has a CHCLC account can view your site. So make sure that it is defaulted to this. You can come in here to manage, and again, you would change down here who would be able to view your site. So the draft piece you don't want to touch because that would mean that other people could edit your site. And instead we did that by adding our collaborators earlier up here. So we don't want to do anything with that now. What you do want to check is here the published site. Anyone in this group can find and open. So that means anyone with a CHCLC account can find and open. If I were to change it, you could make it be restricted so that only certain people can view the site. You can make it public so that anybody in the world can view your site. You could remove the link if you decided you didn't want this page to exist anymore. But for the purposes of the project you guys are doing, this is how we want to have it set so that anyone with a CHCLC account, that's what this means, BOE Township of Cherry Hill account, can view it. Gonna hit done here and publish here. And now my site has been successfully published. When you are ready to share the address to your site for others to view, for others to look at, you will come here to copy published site link. It'll bring you up your little box and you'll see we're at our sites.google.com/chclc.org and then the name of your site. And I can just copy the link from here and paste it into Google Classroom to share with your class or send it out in an email or email it to your teacher. However it is you need to get everyone to your Google site. Okay, so there was a lot of information within this. If you guys run into any trouble, please email me at any time, Ms. O'Reilly, COREILLY, at chclc.org, and I will gladly try to help you out as best I can. Good luck and have fun making your Google sites. I can't wait to see them when you guys are finished. Thanks, everybody.